Okay, good evening, everyone. Today we are going to have our lab 2. And lab 2 is conducting based on the chapter 3's exercise. And we will start it from the problem 11, the first one that need to write our own code. This one, it says that modify class account to provide a method called withdraw that withdraw money from an account. Ensure that the withdrawal amount doesn't exceed the account's balance. If it does, the balance should be left unchanged, and the method should print a message indicating withdrawal amount exceeds the exceeded account balance. Modify class account test in figure 3.9 to test the method withdrawal. Okay, here let's recall our class account. Okay, so here in our class account, we have our class name, which is account, right? And then let's analyze. So in this class, we should have some attributes. We say that is the instance variables. What should we have? Previously, we have the name, right? The name given to the account. And then last lecture, we say that there's supposed to be an attributes indicating the balance. Yes, of course. And then that is the two attributes we will have. How about this class behavior? We also say that is method. Okay. So the first one is we should have a behavior that the users can deposit money, right? Deposit money. The other one now, he said that we should withdraw the money. So the other behavior is withdraw. Of course, since we have a name there, right? We should also have a function, a behavior that is set our name, set the account's name. And accordingly, we should have the get name method, right? And that is all the requirements for this class. However, here it also indicates that ensure the withdrawal amount doesn't exceed the account's balance. So here it has some condition. But it's okay. We are just analyze the class. So that is the whole view of this problem. That means we have to create a class. Its name is account. And we should include two attributes. The first one is name. The other one is balance. And of course, this class should have some behaviors, such as the deposit, withdraw, and also according to the attribute name, we should also have some behaviors like we can set the account name and get the account name. And fine, that is for the analysis. So I will change the screen to let me check, to the IntelliJ here. Okay, and then let's start coding. Here, we should firstly create a class named account. Sorry. Now here we have our account class here, right? And then okay, I write here. we should have attributes. Okay, how to spell it? Anyway, we should have name and balance. Okay, this is a multiple line comment. And we should have some behavior, right? That is deposit, withdraw, set name, and get name. So that is the requirement for this class. And also for the problem 3.11. Okay, let's begin. So here in this account, we should firstly declare the attributes. We use instance variables to stand for the attributes we are going to claim. So here we set the attributes as private. And for the name, we use the string to store it, right? The data type should be string. And we say that is name. That's all. And then for the second one, balance. How do you think of the balance? Should it be a string, an integer, or a decimal point value? So it can't be the string, right? So it must be one of the integer or the decimal point. But usually we will use the decimal point numbers to indicate the balance because nobody want to lose some decimal points, the precisions for the balance, right? So here we will declare a variable and it should be the double type to indicate the balance. And that's all. So then we should declare things like, for example, we are going to create a template of the account. But when we are creating the account, we have to like initialize it, right? So the constructor will initialize the instance object. So in this case, in our class, we should have a constructor to initialize our objects, or we say instances. So how can we create the constructor? As we know, we mentioned last lecture, the constructor is a method that should have the same name with our class. So that means here we only need to put public account. Here is fine. And then previously we say that we can set the name, right? This name dot name is equal to name. However, this is only happen when we are passing the parameters there. So in the parentheses after the account, we should declare at least one parameters that is supposed to be the name. And the correct way to do that is before the name, we should declare its type. So that is string. Fine. Now we have almostly completed the constructor. However, in the problem, it says that it will have some balance, right? We also have some conditions of the balance. Like the balance cannot go negative in the real life. So here, when we are initializing our account, we should say that, okay, let's suppose the account, we don't have anything. So we set it to be a certain kind of amount. Like when you are creating your account, you deposit 50 or you deposit nothing. But that's okay. No matter what the amount is, they're supposed to be amount. So we say we set this dot balance is equal to initial balance. And since if we are using something to assign a value, we should pass the value to this constructor, right? So here we add this parameter, initial balance, in the parameters of the account. So here we say it's also a double type initial balance. Okay, then there comes a question. How can we get the initial balance and the name? Well, actually, when we are creating the instance, we are immediately set the name and the initial and give the number of the initial balance, and then it will pass to the name and the balance here. So don't worry about that. Let's complete the account and we will see the whole program. So here we have done with the constructor there, right? But there's supposed to be a condition. We say it cannot go negative. In this case, we should using a if statement like that. If the initial balance is equal, is bigger or equal to 0.0, right? This is the valid condition. So in this case, we set, in this case, we set the balance. Otherwise, we leave the balance to be a default value, which is supposed to be 0. And that is the condition. Then let's do some behavior. Like here, we are going to create the deposit method. Then it's supposed to be public. Since we deposit the money, we don't require the program provide any other information to us. So the type of this method is void. We do not require any information from this method. So that is deposit. And what we are going to deposit is a certain kind of amount, right? So the parameters passed here is supposed to be a double deposit amount. Okay, I write the typo. Okay, fine. So here we're using the same logic. The money you deposit must be bigger than 0, right? So here we say if deposit amount is bigger or equal to 0.0. If we deposit some money, the balance will increase. So here we should write the balance is equal to what? The balance plus the deposit amount, right? Here. And then that's done with the deposit function. And then how about withdraw? Since withdraw money, we also don't require the program provide anything to us. But you can do it, or you can do like give a prompt like providing a hint that the user has withdraw how much money to the users, but usually we don't do that. So here we also create a void method, public void withdraw double withdraw amount. So according to our problem, let's get back to the problem. It says that we should indicate a message indicating withdrawal amount exists a balance. So in this case, we should measure the withdrawal amount, whether it will exist the balance or not. So here we say if the withdrawal amount exists the balance, we prompt a hint that is sold. That is, let me see, withdrawal amount exists the account balance. I will copy it from the book. Okay, that's it. And in another case, if the withdraw money it's smaller than the balance, that means I can withdraw such kind of money. And in this case, the balance should deduct the withdrawal amount, right? Here, like that. So this is the withdraw method. And after that, we should have like set name, get name method. Public void, like set name, we do not require the program provides anything to me, but rather we are going to provide the system, the name I am going to set. So here it's supposed to be a string type, right? And we should pass the account name to it, right? So in this case, this dot name, this refers to the instance, and it should be set to the account name. Oh, sorry. So when we are requesting for the account name, so the system should provide the name to me. That means it should return something to me now. So for the get name method, it should have a type. The type is a name, but the thing it provides is a name. So the type of this method should be string. Get name method. Okay, fine. And we say return this dot name. So let's see, it's almost done with the account type, but since we have a balance here, right? We should also have a function to provide balance. What if the client wants to request to check the balance of his account? So we should have a method to do that. So since providing the balance of the account, the system should provide a number, right? So here we say it's supposed to be a method with returned type double. Get balance. We say return balance here. So it seems everything looks good. And then let's create the driver class. That is the account test class. Okay, let's create Java class here. Account test. Okay. I want to do that like this way. Okay, let me clean my Okay, for the okay, maybe okay, let me do that. So for the account test here, for the driver class, we should always include the main method. We say PSVM, and then we create the main method there. And then here we are going to create a concrete account right here. So the concrete account is a type of what? Of account, right? So we say a class can be a type. So here we are going to create an account. So the type should be a class. And then we say account one is equal to, when we are creating a class, we always using the keyword new account here. It indicates that we should input the string name, which corresponding to the constructor string name and the initial balance. Okay, let me do that. Right, this is the constructor to initialize our account. So when we are creating the account one, we are calling the constructor after the new. You see, new account. Here we call the constructor, and then we pass the account name like Jane Green here to it. The second thing we are going to pass to the constructor is the initial balance. We say when Jane Green created the account, he deposited $50 there. Okay. And then the terminal symbol is a semicolon. Then that's done with Jane Green with creating the account. So here we use the prompt to indicate the account name and the balance. Okay, I will copy some code here. Here we say we use printf to format our output since my computer. All right, I guess I should only using one type. No, okay, that's fine. You can see the whole line. So let's run to see what happened now. Okay, it inputs that the name is Jane Green, right here. And the initial balance is $50. Okay, great. But since I think this is not correct because it's calling the please enter the deposit money. So I think it goes to a wrong way. Let me select the correct file. It's calling last time's previous lectures thing. Okay, let's run it. Okay, this is correct. So here we create a new count and we output a user prompt. We output a prompt to indicate this percentage S is a placeholder, which is refers to the first parameters we set at the end, which referring to the account.getName method. And the account dot get name method will return the Jane Green to the %s placeholder. So that's why Jane Green is present here. And then the balance. Jane Green balance is $, right? %.2f. This is a string format. That means it will only take the 2 digits of the decimal point value of the initial balance, which referring to the account.1 get balance. It will pass the 50 to the placeholder there. So the first user prompt give us the Jane Green balance is $50. Okay, fine. Then let's do something like we using the scanner. We say we input some amount to deposit. So we should have a scanner here. Okay, let me import the class. When I put my cursor in the red scanner here, it will indicate me import class. So when I click it, it will automatically import the scanner there. So I don't need to import by myself. I mean, type the first import statement by myself. So here we say input is equal to new scanner system.in. Okay, this is a statement. You should always memorize it. And then we got a user prompt here to say, please enter an amount you want to deposit. Okay, we don't change a line, so we delete the ln and we give a space here. We say this is a withdrawal amount. Withdrawal amount you want to take. Okay, no, just withdraw amount. Okay, that's fine. And then we use the scanner variable, which is input, to read a user input number to withdraw. So the number we are reading from the console is supposed to be a double type, right? Double withdraw amount. So we use the input dot next double. Let's try. Oh, here. So the scanner will read our user input from the command line and fetch the number we input in the console and then transfer the number to the instance variable withdraw amount. So from now on, the withdraw amount stands for the things we input in the command line. So then we should call the withdraw method. We say that if you are invoking a method, always you should using such a way like the object name dot method name, right? And the object name here refer to the account one, which is the instance name. Okay, we say instance name is much easier to understand. Account one, right? And what about the method name? Let's check in our original account code. Okay, it's deposit and with one parameter here, right? So then we call it, like, we invoke the deposit method in such a way, account1 dot deposit, right? And then this is supposed to be a deposit amount. Oh no, withdraw amount, sorry. Withdraw, okay, it's the same thing. And then we pass the withdraw amount to it. Okay, great. So here, let's display the balance. So here, the balance is, we use the same thing. Change it to printf because we are going to using the format output. Account1 dot, we have a function that is get balance. Yeah. Okay. Don't know what's wrong with this one. So let's try. Okay, please enter and withdraw amount. We say that is 10.0. So let's see. Okay, now the balance is 40. Okay, that is for the first. That is for the first problem. I will give you 20 minutes to practice by yourself. Okay, 20 minutes. You can input everything on your end. And since the code is pretty long, right? Okay, I will upload it to the Brightspace now, so you can check by yourself. But I encourage you to practice on your own. So after 20 minutes, we say 7. Okay, 50. 6:50, we will continue to our second problem. Now I will upload the code to Brightspace. So if you have any questions, or if you have any problems when you are coding this problem, just let me know. You can share your screen so I can debug it. But I don't think it's difficult. Lab 02. Okay, I will also upload the picture for the problem. Yeah, I saw somebody saying something. No, I'm uploading the I'm uploading the problem analysis, that is the picture I drawing and the code. I expect you to practice on your local machine. But since the code is long, so I cannot display it at one time. It might affect you reading, so I'm uploading it to the Brightspace. It's okay. Like even if you miss a class or if you miss an exam, you can write email to me to reopen for you. For my class, everything can be negotiated. Don't worry. Where is my lab tool? Mm. It seems that I should rename the file. So wait a minute. The Brightspace doesn't allow repeated same name file, so I have to rename it. So here, okay, seems fine now. Okay, same thing. Okay, I have uploaded my code to the Brightspace in the module code, and you turn to the lab 2. There is a problem analysis, which is the image, and then the two code is there, the account lab 2 and the account test lab 2, which is the same as I presented in the Zoom. So if you still feeling struggle with writing the code by your own self, you can like download the code, take a look and write, take a look and write, take a look and write. and let me know let me know if your program have some problem. Feel free to connect me. Okay, 20 minutes now. We will continue to our next problem. I know some of the students may not practice, but it's fine. You can watch the recording and practice by yourself, but I still hoping that you can practice by yourself, because only when you type the code by yourself, you will know that coding by yourself and watching code by me is quite different. And it seems that your finger is not listening to you sometimes. But I hope you can all fastly grab the coding skills. But you should pay more time to practice. But it's fine, even you don't practice. It's okay, because I understand that some of you may have to work, or even working while open the Zoom on. It's fine. Then I will go to the painter. Okay, I'll clean this one. So let's see the next problem. Let's analyze this. Analyze it first. Okay, he say we are going to create a class called invoice. That means the class name should be invoice. Right? Everything is according to the problem. That a hardware store might use to present an invoice for an item sold at the store. An invoice should include 4 pieces of information as instance variables. Okay, pretty straightforward. It already told you the instance variables. What of that? Like, let's have a look. A part number, which is the type string. So we should have some attributes. Attributes, the type, the part number. Okay, part number, which is a string type. And then the second one is a part description. And it's also the string type. And what else? A quantity of the item being purchased. We say the quantity, right? It's supposed to be int. And what else? Let's see. A price per item. So it is the price per item. It's supposed to be the type double, right? So pretty straightforward. He already told you what to write there. And then let's see what's the behavior or method. it requires. So your class should have a constructor that initializes the 4 instance variables. Okay, every time we will have the constructors. So provide a set and get method for each instance variables. Get and set for each variables. And what else? A method named get invoice amount that calculates the invoice amount. Get invoice amount, right? Okay, misspell. And what else? No, nothing. And for the later one, okay, I should minimize them. For the other sentences, they are the conditions. Like here, he say, if the quantity is not positive, it should be set to 0. If the price per item is not positive, it should be set to 0. Okay, let's write a test app named to test invoice test that demonstrate the class invoice capabilities. All right, then from now on, we are going to code by ourselves. So here, this is the whole view of the class invoice. Its attributes. We have 4 attributes. We say 4 instance variables. And the behaviors, we have to write the get method and set method for those variables. And the additional one is the get invoice amount. Okay, let's do it. Okay, turning to the, okay. Sorry, where is, okay, here. Here is my IntelliJ here. So we should create a class. Its name is invoice. Okay, let me type the. Here it says that we should write the attributes, part number, part description, quantity, and the price per item. So what we'll do is declare the instance variables. Right here. Then we'll have to write the get and the set for each variable. Constructor. No, we should write the constructor. Constructor to initialize the instance variable. We'll say the constructor is a method with the same name of the class. So here is supposed to be public invoice. Okay, currently we do not pass anything to it. And let's see, since we are going to initialize the 4 variables, so that means we should pass the 4 initial default value for the 4 instance variables. Therefore, we have 4 parameters there. So those would be, we can copy that. String part number, string pass description, int quantity, double price per item. Since we have some conditions mentioned in our problem description, right? If the quantity is smaller than 0, it's supposed to be 0. That means only when the quantity is bigger than 0, we set this dot quantity to be the quantity. Otherwise, it will be default by 0. And also the price per item. If price per item is bigger than 0.0, we set this dot price per item is equal to price per item. Okay, this is the conditions for the two parameters, quantity and the price per item. For the other two, we can initialize them directly. Okay, this is the constructors. Then what we'll do is to write our get and the set method for each variable. So let me see whether there is a shortcut for us to create the get method. I remember when I was first time using the IntelliJ, there is a way that I can create constructor automatically, and also the get method and the set method. Okay, here is a generate here. In the top bar, there is a code, there is a generate. Let's try generate. Oh, it has constructor, getter, setter, getter and setter. Okay, let's try, click it. And then we select both 4. Okay, try. Fine, and then it creates the getter and the set method automatically by itself. Okay, I will repeat these steps again, okay? Then first, let me delete all the getter and the setter. And then I direct my cursor to the top of the menu bar, and I select the code here. Okay, sorry, I select the code. Jesus, I select the code, and then I direct it to the generate selection here. I click it, and then it will indicate me what things to generate. Okay, I have constructor now, so I do not need the IntelliJ to generate the constructor to me. So what I need the IntelliJ do for me is to create the getter and the setter. So I click it, and then I select all the 4, and I clicked OK. Then it will create the getter and the setter method for me automatically, pretty quickly. And then we still need one more method. That is the, let's see, get invoice method. So how can we write this method? So go down. I'm wishing to write it above, but it's okay. That's consistent to be the problem right at the end of the class. So here we say we declare a function. It will give us the get invoice amount, right? So it's supposed to be a decimal value because the amount usually it with digits. So it's supposed to be like this. What it will return? So I think it's supposed to be like get quantity, the quantity multiplied by the price per item, right? So it's supposed to be like that. And this is the get invoice amount. But why there is a mistake here? Let me check. Oh, I have to return. Sorry. Okay, fine. It seems looking fine. However, since there are some conditions in the problem that we have to restrict the price per item is bigger than 0, otherwise set it to default 0. In this case, we should go to the set price item part. Let's direct it to it. Okay, this is set price. Okay, this here, set, oh, this is set quantity. Here, if the price per item is bigger than 0, okay, we use this one. If it is smaller or equal to 0.0, we set it to 0. Right? This is per question. And the same thing is supposed to be the quantity. If quantity is bigger than 0, we set the quantity. If not, the quantity should be set to 0, right? This is per the question. Okay, currently everything looks fine. And you can also type, if you don't know how to use it, how to use the IntelliJ to create the getter and the setter method for you, you can also type it by yourself. Well, this looks fine now. And then what we'll do next is to create a test class invoice to test our invoice classes. Test. Okay, here we first create a main method PSVM here. And then since we know we are going to create an instance of invoice. I'll move it to here. So the data type of the things we are going to create it is supposed to be invoice, right? We say the class can be a certain kind of type. So we say, so the instance name, we say it is invoice1. And then we use the new keyword to call the constructor here. It indicates that we should input the string part number, string part description, and quantity, and what is that? Oh, price per item. So 4 parameters here. Okay, let's say currently, okay, I will close the invoice.java file, and currently now everything fine. We input the part number is 1, 2, 3, 4, and the part description is hammer, indicating the category, and the quantity is 2. The price item per item is 14.95. So let's display some basic information for that, which is, let's say, we get the part number, description, quantity, price, and the total amount for this invoice. Okay, sorry, I should click here. Okay, here it says original invoice information, part number 1234 here, because we use the get part number to copy the value. And then invoice 1.get part description, it will return us the description here. And for the quantity, it's 2, price is 40.95, and this is the total invoice amount. Okay, everything looks good, right? So, and then okay, let me using a test change price. Change instance variables. Let's test something different. So here, what if I want to change the part number, description, and set quantity rather than create a new one? I mean, I only using the invoice one. I don't want to create a new invoice too. Change the invoice one rather than create a new invoice. As we just design our voice type, right? We have set method and the get method. The set method is not all, the constructor is using for initialize, and the set method is always to using for set the instance values. It is not only used for initialize, but it can use for set it, or we say change it. So let's try. If I use the set method for the 4 instance variables like that, I mean, currently I set the invoice 1, I set the part number to be 001234. And then I set the part descriptions, like I add a color to describe it, like yellow hammer. And then I increase the quantity to be 3, and I increase the price per item to be 90.49. So what should be the output now? Okay, let's try. Okay, the update information now here is the part number is changed to the new one we set here, right? In the line 5. And also the description, quantity, price, and the invoice amount. So that is the set method and get methods functionality that it can update the variable, instance variable's value. And then how about let's create an invoice 2. Now here is a totally different thing. Like we create a new invoice that is for the part 5678, and it is for paintbrush. The quantity is -5. So what happened here? Why it is negative? And the price per item is also negative. It seems this invoice is incorrect, right? So let's output the information for this invoice. Okay, let's see, original invoice to information. Here we change to invoice 1. So let's see. Let's run. As you can see here, the original invoice to information, the first part amount 5, 6, 7, 8 it keeps the same. Paintbrush is same. For those negative values, it returns 0. Why? Let's investigate the original source code for the invoice. Okay, here this is the 0 value. It can automatically convert to 0 is because when we are designing our invoice class, we have some conditions right here. If condition is bigger than 0, we set the quantity to be the default value we set. Otherwise, if the quantity goes to negative, it will become 0 at here. And this is also the same thing with the price per item. We have some conditions and we use the if statement here to restrict the price per item and the quantity to go negative. So even when I use the constructor to initialize my invoice to using some negative parameters like -5 or -9.99, what I can get is a 0 rather than a negative thing. That is how these two different classes interact with each other. And then I will upload the code and the problem analysis into the Brightspace, and you can practice on your own local machine and let me know if you have any questions. Okay, everything I have uploaded. So you can at least run the code on your local machine by yourself. And then try to write your own code, create a new project, and write practice by yourself. And I think in the exam two's questions will all coming from the lab. Don't worry about that. As long as you can read the code, you can complete the exam two, but it's still far. Maybe next month. Yeah. Do we have any students want to go masters? Well, I just received an update from my colleagues. I will update it into the Brightspace as they are currently recruiting the instructor and the assistant professor. Well, but it is not for adjunct. It is for the full-time one. So just to encourage you, I will post everything in the Brightspace. What's I guess if you are, I mean, I guess if you are, I mean, in the future, if you are have interest into going to your masters and then returning back to BCC, they may be pretty like they may be pretty like you because you are alumni. Although the pay is not better than industry. Oh, yeah, but I didn't for the NASA things. I don't know. I didn't receive that. It's a job affair or something. I don't know. Actually, if you are going to the Manhattan Graduate Center tomorrow, there is a job fair. I will post it. Wait a minute. The BCC faculty, because if you are, I mean, if you are not want to go to the industry, and if you want to be a teacher in CUNY, the pay is actually is nice, but it requires to do masters or PhD. But whatever, you are still far from here. But currently, you still have to. I mean, I don't know, but at least you should know that our school is providing good salary, and I'm hoping that you can return. At least some of you may can be returned. It says for instructor, it provides 50,000 something, and for assistant professor, usually for assistant professor, it's going up to more than 80,000. Okay. Okay, no problem. If you have something else, you can leave. Good night. And then let me post the job affairs at the Hunter CUNY for you. But it's tomorrow. Job. Yeah. Career fair. If you have time, you can go there to submit your resume. Oh. Okay. Now, if you have questions, you can leave. Otherwise, you can leave.